Hi everybody, my name is Chef Ian Vair and you're watching The Healthy Chef. Thank you for tuning in. We have a fabulous episode for you today. I'm going to be cooking authentic chicken sop tacos with fresh salsa and guacamole. Yum, sounds delicious. Stay tuned. All right, let's get started. Salsa. I'm going to make this first because this takes the longest, and salsa is something that this fresh salsa recipe, it's something that I learned in Austin, Texas, actually. I lived there for 12 years when I was a little younger. And this salsa can be made the day before. I even recommend that you make it the day before. You're going to have your dinner party or have it all week to enjoy with tacos or nachos or any southwestern dish that you're going to be enjoying. So, fresh salsa. Okay, let's go. Now, let's see here. I recommend that you have, and you don't have to have this, but a food processor is the best way to go. You can use a blender, but I definitely recommend a food processor. Now, I did go with, and I like to have, as far as tomatoes go, 50-50 canned tomatoes, and I have certified organic tomatoes here. And the canned tomatoes along with fresh tomatoes. All right, we have about 12 ounces. So let's put this right into our food processor. Excellent. This is a fairly large recipe. This is going to give us about a quart of salsa. So this will last for days. Okay, so 12 ounces of canned tomatoes. We're going to use 12 ounces of diced tomatoes. I went for organic plum tomatoes for the rest of this. And I have a serrated knife. Some of you might call it a bread knife. And you really don't need to dice these in any particular way. As long as these guys are cut up a bit. Okay. Okay, this is going to go right in the food processor. It came out to about 3 tomatoes. Now these were by weight. So if you don't have a scale, at home, you can weigh these at the grocery store. In the summertime, you can also buy excellent tomatoes at the farmer's market. And several of these ingredients you can buy at the farmer's market in the summertime, which I highly recommend because we're keeping it local, we're keeping it organic, we're staying within our community. These are all excellent practices. All right. Those of you who might just be tuning in, we're making fresh salsa here on The Healthy Chef. My name's Chef Ian Vair. Okay. Tomatoes are in. Next, I'm going to put in some green onions, aka scallions. You don't need too much, 3 or 4. And just give them a slice. Very important when using your knife that you keep your knuckles turned in, almost as a guide for your knife, and keep your thumb back. Excellent. All right, let's put all these onions right in the mix. Green onions. Next I have jalapeno peppers, and I like to use about 2 to 3 jalapeno peppers, depending on how spicy you like it. Now, there could be some of you at home that like very extra spicy, and for that I would go with habanero. This is what I enjoy. I like to put 1 habanero in on top of the 2 jalapenos, and they're spicy. So be careful if you go and use one of these. At any rate, jalapeno, just a rough dice. Okay. Because remember, the food processor is going to be mixing all this up and make a very nice salsa for us. And if you can see what I'm doing here, I'm making it a little easier for myself. I'm leaving the stem on and just cutting it down the middle and then turning it over and cutting it down the middle again. And then I can go right over it and it holds the whole pepper together. That worked great. These are going to go right into the food processor. Okay. Garlic. I like to use a little bit of garlic. Now, 1 to 2 garlic cloves are what we're going to need for this. And garlic is especially tasty when you cook it just a little bit, in a little bit of oil. All right. Also, there are compounds in garlic that emerge, that come out of the garlic when you slice it just a little bit first and let it rest. Okay. So it's good to crush or slice your garlic first, let it rest, and then this is before we use it, okay? That allows certain compounds to develop, so it's even healthier for you. Now it looks like I got 2 here. That's about the right size, so 2 medium cloves works great. Now I already sliced some for us. I got a nice big clove earlier. This has been resting about 15-20 minutes. Okay, I'm just going to give that a little, just a little chop. Okay, and I generally saute with avocado oil. We don't need much, maybe a teaspoon. And we don't need it to be too hot because we don't want to burn the garlic. Let's see, this is going to go right in. I bet you this is going to cook for about 10 or 15 seconds. Chef Ian Vair here. You're watching The Healthy Chef, and we are preparing, I should say, fresh salsa. Okay, that's not so hot that it's going to ruin anything that we're putting in there. Very nice. All right, let's put some lime juice in. And for this, we need about 1/2 of a lime for this recipe. Okay, so I'm going to cut this in half again, no seeds, right into the food processor. Okay, last but not least, I like to use a little bit of cilantro. Now, this was a whole bunch of cilantro, literally a bunch of cilantro needed to find at the grocery store. Summertime, you might find this at the farmer's market, okay? And it's going to be better quality because it's local and it's definitely organic, okay? So for this, I want about 1/2 of this bunch. Okay, and that's a rough chop, and then I'm going to go back over a few times. Okay. That's good enough. Let's get all this right in with our salsa. Okay, next, a little bit of sea salt, and not much salt. We don't want this to be a real salty dish. A lot of times when we're mixing this or eating, say, chips with it, the chips already have a fair amount of salt, or we're putting it on our tacos. Everything's flavored pretty well, so you don't want to over salt. This one was 1/2 of a teaspoon. So 1/2 a teaspoon. black pepper, same quantity, half a teaspoon. Chili powder, let's see, again, half of a teaspoon. And a little bit of cumin. And for that, I go light on the cumin. It's very strong. Similar flavor to chili powder, much stronger. So 1/8 of a teaspoon. You can even leave it out, okay, if you don't like cumin. All right, not much goes in there. All right, so everything is in your food processor, and all you want to do is pulse this, okay? Nice pulse. That looks fabulous. Okay, let me grab a spoon. I want to taste. That's delicious. Now again, some of you might like this a little spicier. Throw in another jalapeno. Add a habanero. Enjoy. Okay, next for our recipe. Guacamole. Guacamole is one of my favorites. Some of you might call it guacamole, which is, that's how we pronounce it. A lot of people call it, pronounce it guacamole. It's a little more southwestern. Tomato, whatever makes you happy. Now, these can be challenging. Avocado can be very challenging to work with. They're extremely healthy, high in calories, but extremely healthy. They're good fats, okay? Now, which avocado do I use? Now, some of you might say, well, I've gotten avocado before, and I cut into it and it was brown. Or I cut into it and it was so hard, I couldn't use it. Now, there's a distinction. Green avocado, not ripe, okay? Soft, mushy, too ripe. Now, we want it to just have a little bit of give, just a little give, okay? Now, if it's green, it's going to need, it could need a few days. And if you get it and it's green and you need it to sort of speed up the ripening process, what you want to do is put it into a paper bag and seal that bag up. And within a day or two, for sure, it's going to be ready, okay? So this is the ripe avocado with a little give. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, any knife will suffice. There is, on the top of it, there we go, kind of a stem. I'm going to take that off, if it's even on there. Now we're going to cut down, there's quite a large seed in the middle. It can be even as large as a golf ball. And we're going to go all the way around. That's pretty nice. All right, everyone can see that? Now, take your knife. Comes right out. No problem. In the trash. Now, what I like to do is cut down the middle. All right, the skin on it is fairly firm. Okay, so my knife I'm just barely going to push that against there. It's not going to cut through real easily. So cut down and then over a couple of times. Same thing. Down, over. Now you're going to use a spoon and in a bowl, kind of depress this against the inside of the skin, and that will release all of the fruit. Nice. Beautiful. Hang on to that spoon. Now, we need to mash this up a little bit. And what I've done is, and I've used this many times over, I take a fork, and it's just a thin fork that has some give to it, and I bend it. Okay? Let me see that. I don't know if we can see that. Let's look down here. Okay? See my fork? And all I've done is just slightly bent it. And I'm going to mash. You don't have to bend your fork like this, but it makes it a lot easier. Okay? A lot easier. That's it. Okay? Doesn't need to be mush. can have a few little chunks in there. The texture's nice. It's very authentic, okay? Now, not much more. This is a very basic recipe. I like to use 1/4 of a lime. So for this whole entire dish, this whole recipe today, for all the recipes, 1 lime is good. All right, the lime juice is what we want. So I'm going to squeeze that down into the guac. Excellent. Now, salt, pepper, chili powder. That's it. All right, keep it simple. Okay. Just a sprinkle. Not too salty. Just a sprinkle. And you know what? For fun, I'm going to add in a little bit of cilantro. Not much. Just a little. A little more southwestern flavor. Right in. That's all. Give that a mix. Okay, let's try this. Yum. That's delicious. Okay, next, chicken breast. Because remember, we're making chicken soft tacos. Now the chicken breast, and you can use dark meat as well. I like to use cooked chicken, all right? I've actually already cooked some chicken before we began taping the film, or the program, excuse me. And this is nice because you can also use leftover chicken. Say you had roasted chicken the night before. You could say, hey, let's make chicken soft tacos, you know, tonight, because we ate chicken yesterday or a couple days ago. So the chicken that we have is left over. Now, if you do not have leftover chicken and you have some raw chicken breast, no big deal. I brought some of that as well. And for that, all that's going to happen little oil, just a drizzle. And I'm using avocado oil. Your raw chicken breast. Into the oven. Now, a little bit of television magic. The chicken breast goes in. Chicken breast comes out. Lovely. And this is our cooked chicken breast. All right? Now remember, this doesn't have to be hot right now, because I'm gonna cook it in the pan and add some spices into it. This is about probably a 5 or 6 ounce chicken breast. This recipe is for 2 people. And I'm gonna cut it in half, okay? Fully cooked. You could pull this. I'm just going to slice it today. A sharp knife is important. Cut it all the way through. Cut it again. And for this, to make it nice and authentic, I like to use a fair amount of oil. Now this is avocado oil. It's excellent for you, okay? High smoke point, which means that you can cook your ingredients very quickly. You know, we're going to be sautéing this. And the key to sauté, the definition even, is a fairly small amount of fat, fairly low amount of fat, and high heat, okay? Now, relatively speaking, a tablespoon is not very much fat. And when this goes in, you want to hear that sizzle. All right. Nice. Now, right on top of that, I'm going to go with, and I'm not much, okay? I'm going to sprinkle some salt, and this is some sea salt that I'm using today. Black pepper, just sprinkling it over the chicken. Chili powder, the smallest amount of cumin, and some oregano. Excellent. Looks fabulous. And I want just a skosh more oil in here. Looking good. Now, if we were cooking this at home with leftover chicken, we would want to make sure it was nice and hot. Okay, to eliminate any possibility of any bacteria or anything being in the chicken, okay, just to make sure. Now this is here in the studio, hot right out of the oven, so we don't need nearly as much time. So this cooked fast. Excellent, excellent, that looks great. Okay, next, we're going to cook some, I should say heat up, some tortillas. And some of you may not be used to corn tortillas. They are very authentic. A lot of Mexican restaurants that you'll find will use flour tortillas. Now, I was really scrutinizing these at the store yesterday before I brought them, and I knew I wanted to bring corn tortillas, but I also wanted to make sure that I brought the tortillas that had the least amount of ingredients, okay? That's the type of shopper that I am. That's the type of chef that I am. On Healthy Chef, you know, we want to keep it as simple as possible, all right? We want to keep as much organic as we can. We want to keep as much local as we can, okay? So, a nice hot pan. There were about 7 ingredients in these, 7 or 8 ingredients. And for the show today, I'm only using 2. Calorie-wise, these came out to 70 calories each. Believe it or not, per taco, we were around 275 calories in the end. So I would, on average, the average person will probably eat a couple of tacos, okay? I ate 3 last night. They were awesome. But we did good. I only spent, came out, when I costed it, it came out to about $2 a taco, which is fabulous, all right? So these guys are having a hot pan, about 30 seconds on each side, okay? 30 seconds, and we're going to flip it over, all right? Cheddar cheese. And my favorite to use, and it's not Southwestern, but Vermont cheddar is my favorite. Excellent flavor. So I'm just going to grate a little bit of Vermont cheddar. Keep it right here. Delicious. We only need a few ounces. Super. One more time. We're close. We're almost there. Tortillas are finishing up. And I have some iceberg lettuce. You can use any kind of lettuce you like. This is the type of lettuce you're most likely going to find down south. Not necessarily. It could be a green leaf. Could be a romaine. As a kid going to Mexican food restaurants, I remember this type of lettuce being used. Fond memories of going out to eat growing up down in Texas. And I'm just going to slice this really nice and thin. Excellent. Maybe a skosh more. We're almost there. Okay, everything is in its place. Let's finish these up. Okay, we have our tortillas on a beautiful plate here. And can we see this as I plate up, or do I? Okay, awesome. I'm going to put the chicken down first. Beautiful, flavorful. You know, I like the cheese to go next because it melts a little bit. Okay. Put some salsa on top of these. Excellent. This is all homemade, everyone. If anyone didn't watch or tune in from the very beginning, chicken soft tacos with fresh salsa, homemade guacamole. Okay. Guacamole is going to go in. And I didn't bother with diced tomatoes because we got enough tomato with the salsa. All right, so close. Some lettuce. I even brought a little sour cream. If anybody likes sour cream, why not? Now remember, these were about 275 calories per taco. It cost me about $2 each. Okay, so great food cost. All right, nutrient-wise. You know, honestly, it came out pretty even. Fat, protein, carbohydrate, they were fairly even, low to mid-30s. All right, a little more in here. And I like to finish it off with a green onion, just for plating, for fun. Super. Oh, that looks nice. Okay, here they are, everyone. Our chicken soft tacos. That was fun. I hope everyone enjoyed, and I hope that you please make these recipes at home. They're not difficult. These are easy to procure, they're inexpensive, they're healthy, they're delicious, easy to duplicate. So these meals, types of meals we can definitely will continue to make on The Healthy Chef here at PEG TV. Please make them in your home. Feel free to let us know what you think. Our next episode will be next month, and we will be using morel mushrooms. I'm a mushroom forager, I have a mushroom business, and I'll be getting into morel mushroom hunting. So I'm not quite sure what the recipe is going to be, but if you're into wild mushrooms, come check it out. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been a wonderful program. My name's Chef Ian Vair, and you're watching The Healthy Chef.